In a universe where this game exists, any Mario-clad crossover or experiment seems like it's on the table. Like Tony Chachery's, Mario goes with everything these days, but it wasn't always that way. A few hundred years ago, back in the early 90s, the Prime Plumber was still, perhaps, pigeonholed in his pipe-probing, platforming role. He hadn't evolved to his franchise-carrying final form. Aside from the platformers and some DOS-based stuff and NES disc stuff, it wasn't until 1990 that we got the first interesting spin-off in Dr. Mario. Then in 1991, a golf game with some franchise characters shoehorned in. In 1992, Mario Paint, Yoshi's Cookies, and Mario Kart, that's a big one. In 1993, a Super NES version of Yoshi's Cookies, Yoshi's Safari, Mario's Missing, and Mario's Time Machine. Then in 1994, we got Wario's Woods, which I actually liked a bit, a Mario Tetris crossover, a whole bunch of forgettable edutainment stuff, and, inexplicably, Hotel Mario, a Philips CD release where Mario, expressing his frustration in a way only a confused Italian plumber can, spends the entire game slamming doors.
All toasters, toast, toast.
Okay, so here comes 1995, and other than some Virtual Boy stuff, nothing doing as far as spin-offs are concerned. Finally, in walks 1996, along with the Unabomber, Super Bowl Triple Extra Large, and the whole reason I'm here in the first place, Super Mario RPG. Yeah, there was also that 64 thing, but we're not talking about that. It took a while to get here, so quick recap. That's half a decade of futile spin-offs, other than Mario Kart, of course. Nintendo was in need of an off-genre win to muscle Mario into super-duper star status, and they got it with Super Mario RPG. Though late in the Super NES's life cycle, SMRPG LOTSS was a ninth-inning home run that opened up an entire new landscape for the Big M and his posse. It also gave Nintendo a bunch of new tools to work with, though I'll expand on this later. Super Mario RPG also brought some useful innovations to the role-playing genre, many of which have persisted into modern Mario role-playing games. The active battle mechanics, like timing button presses to attack animations, may seem archaic now, but until Legend of the Seven Stars, most RPGs out of the Japan were best described as menu managers, which is fine if you like that kind of thing, but there's room for evolution, and Mario RPG helped drive a part of that. Also, there was an expanded emphasis on platforming and exploration, partly made possible by improving technology and strong 3D-ish artistic production. Altogether, this made for an eminently explorable Mushroom Kingdom. The result was a compelling combination of mechanics, some RPGs, some action, and some platforming. Today, genre blend-ups are so common as to be mundane, but back in the mid-90s, when games were easier to silo, Legend of the Seven Stars foreshadowed a future of genre fusion. That's not to say that Mario RPG was the best contemporaneous example, but it was a very good, influential one among many, and that counts for something. The germ for this opinion, I'd say, is that Smurgplots, the G is silent, is the first Mario game where foundational characters, Bowser and Peach foremost, are infused with some carefully engineered depth. Mario remains, as ever, the sturdy, unflappable, irrationally confident, yet silent protagonist. Peach and Bowser, though, they got the Ted Woolsey treatment. Woolsey was the translator and localizer for Square's ridiculous Super NES run, which included Final Fantasy VI, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, and Super Mario RPG. Though controversial to some lingual purists, Woolsey was a big part of Square's appeal to Western gamers, and his use of humor and feel for character development through dialogue is strong. Peach, for example, is occasionally emotional and vulnerable, which are inextricable traits of a bee-pinked princess in distress. She's also, at times, resolved and on the initiative. Hitting all of these character points is a balancing act, especially when you're inventing new parts of a character. But Square's and Woolsey's recasting of Peach as action taker has helped the princess progress past her old role as passive participant and into someone more dynamic. Bowser's an even better example of this character building approach, though. Nintendo and Square threw a courageous curveball by casting the King Koopa as a playable ally. Woolsey's dialogue choices, which played up Bowser's bumbling false bravado and pride, gave the franchise's principal villain a humorous edge. Both of these creative choices have canonized Bowser's role as a part-time villain, part-time colleague, and part-time rival. Unlike so many villains in gaming, Bowser isn't some humorless, empty vessel into which all the bad things are poured. It's difficult to develop a useful character from that starting point, and so Nintendo, Square, and Woolsey gave the Big Liz just enough humor and honor to make him a likable recurring cast member. Mario, never the loquacious sort, needs interesting co-stars to carry plot development and communication, and Mario RPG transformed Bowser into one of those screen-sharing types. This last point is an expansion on everything else. Super Mario RPG, under the expert purview of Shigeru Miyamoto, was built to breathe life into the Mushroom Kingdom, its places, its movers and shakers. Mario RPG introduced a new villain, which redefined what a villain could be in the Mario universe. It introduced new places and faces, therefore redefining what faces and places could be like in that same universe. It introduced new ideas into a well-worn genre, which redefined how console role-playing titles could be played. One mark of a mega franchise is an inexhaustible engine of creative inspiration and output. No matter how you define that, Nintendo's humble plumber is more than an engine. He's the nuclear power plant in an unsinkable aircraft carrier, cruising around in one of gaming's most interesting worlds. I mean, my man Mario's bigger than Mickey. He's withstood decades of console battles and attempts at his crown. He's been perfectly adapted for gamers of all ages and interests. He's got a presence in the toy section of your favorite department store. I mean, heck dang, dude's got his own theme park now. No other gaming franchise is even close, and it's fair to wonder, even boldly speculate, what role Super Mario RPG's world building has had in all of that unmatched success. It's also difficult to overestimate the importance Mario has to Nintendo at large. In the world of media, interactive or not, the most recognizable character typically wins, and no one is more closely associated with gaming than the Big N's Plumber King. So in short, SMRPG is the most important Nintendo game of all time because it made Mario's world super. Until next time, friends, I'm Kevin with Broguelike.